Hey, we are still in the process of healing, so I don't want to rush myself on overdoing it. But we are back. Like I said, we are back. We are really back. I brought my journal and notes because a lot of times I write notes of what to talk about because sometimes thoughts will just come into my head and I'll be like, oh my God, that is a great video, that would be a great video. But then I don't, when I start recording, I don't go back to my notes because I'm on my phone and I could just grab my iPad and just look. But yeah, I just get here and I just start talking, right? But sometimes it do help to provide that discipline, and not even necessarily discipline, but structure. That's the word I'm looking for, structure, when I'm recording, to really help me to get the thoughts out and everything like that, is when I have something down and not even just trying to bullet point everything, but just for the simple fact of, oh, okay, this is the topics that I kind of need to be on. So I did write something down because as I was reading this book, and this is a really good book, I've been reading it off and on. I have not finished it, but I have finished a book. And I do this thing, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but we can talk about it. And this is also a form of loving yourself. And I've been noticing all the forms of how I don't love myself and everything like that because I'm trying to really get to healing. I have a lot of trauma and just damage from childhood of truly not valuing and loving myself, where it became a conditional thing. So I gave myself really minimum love or conditional love, and I'm trying to go back to the start of it. And when you have 20 years of it, it becomes something that is a challenge. It's not something that you cannot do. It just, not as easy as a lot of other things that may have come naturally for you in life. And so it's relearning a lot of the things that are programmed in me, and it does take time, and you may go backwards. So give yourself grace for that and understand that you are trying, and even just putting in the effort of you trying is amazing. So congratulations to that. But if you're like me, you're tired of the back and forth where you are doing good but then you go backwards, you know let's actually get to the healing part of that. And even with, you know, in your journey, when you do things too quickly, right? Well, you are healing, but you do not take the appropriate time to heal. You will fall victim to a lot of manipulation and circumstances and situations where you end up going backwards, and it may be a bigger fall that will always be a lesson for you. But that is the key thing. Do not rush your healing process and your self-love journey, because man, it will leave you, going down because you're more aware of things, right? So that means that it's a little bit more difficult for the people before, who could just you could spot the little things, oh yeah, this person ain't no good. But because of you truly, healing, and because we're in a world of where we're really vocal about a lot of things now, it's that where we kind of let people know about us before actually knowing us. So if we putting these things on social media, it's like we're out there, and we're putting it all out there for the people who are trying to manipulate, who are trying to abuse us, to do it, because we're putting it out there. So you have to be more cautious, but you actually have to heal and take the appropriate time to heal. Everything in life is a lesson. So even if you do end up repeating a cycle and anything like that, it was meant to be repeated because it was something that you still need to learn. And so you don't have it all together. But like me, I'm really, I don't want to say I'm tired, but I'm yeah, I really need to get into this cycle of really actually truly healing, so that way I can have a better relationship with myself, and that can trickle into all the other relationships that I have in the future. But right now, the most important relationship is self. And like I said, because I have to self heal physically, And even more now because I hurt myself trying to go for a walk. So it's more of the self-healing aspect that I have to do. It's like, God is really showing me how patient and loving I need to be with myself. And instead of like wanting to venture off and give that to other people, it starts with self. So physically, I needed to see how I needed to start loving myself, because emotionally and spiritually and even mentally, I still was not loving myself. And, the things that I was doing on a deeper level, inwardly, was not showing myself that I loved myself. So now it's the process of actually learning what true love means, and true love starts within. God gave us unconditional love, and we have the power to tap into that daily. But you have to know that, and it's kind of difficult if you don't love yourself, because the simplest things. And like I said, I was reading this book, to How to Love Yourself Again. I think that's what it was called, by Nick something with the S. And I read that whole book. So I was really proud of myself for reading the whole book, because I would read a book and I would kind of get it. I'd be like, oh, okay, let me share this out because I know this. Okay, this was something good. I'm going to share it to everybody else. And then I wouldn't like truly apply it to myself, but I would like share it out to the world, because I'd be like, okay, yeah, we need to know this. But I wouldn't like apply it for my life. And then that would like cause me to like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not truly reading all of these books. Like, I'm like going back and forth, going in and out of reading these books. And like some books I did read, from front to back, and I would like read it 20 more times. But some of these books, I was like, I'm taking the gist of it, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good. And then I wouldn't finish. So to actually finish that book, it felt really, really good, because I knew I really needed to finish that book, and I knew that it was going to be something important for me to finish. So when I finished it, I was really, really happy that I finished the book. So now I was like, you know what, let me go back to this book, because this book is actually really, really good, and it's called How to Do the Work. Recognize your patterns, heal from your past, plus create your future self, by the holistic psychologist, right? She's amazing. I love, love, love everything that she stands for and everything that she does, because she's really helping me in a more holistic way of looking at psychology, because I feel like that's how life should be looked at, in a more holistic way, because the mind, the body, and the spirit all act, and they go together with providing us with homeostasis and getting us back to a balanced state, right? So I really feel like we should all get back to that. Just doing things like this, just getting on here and recording. And like I said before, like even if nobody watches or anything like that, this genuinely makes me happy. It makes me happy to get here and just talk and express a lot of the things that I have been through and how I'm working and coping with it, because I see a lot of people out in the world who need these things, and they're not seeing it on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes because we social media, we see a lot of people doing these things, and we see a lot of like the spiritual holistic advisors and things like this. But when you trickle down, when I'm seeing it in the real world, I'm seeing that there are plenty of people who still don't love themselves, who still don't value themselves, and still have a lot of deep rooted trauma that once again is just now surface level. So now we just see it, but we still haven't understood or grasped the concept of how to actually heal what is going on. And now we're saying this, and now we're kind of using everything now as a crutch. It's like, okay, well, I have anxiety and that's why I do XYZ, but now we're not actually diving in deeper to why do we have this anxiety, but how can we actually heal this, instead of getting medication that is actually not going to heal us, but how can we actually heal? So I love anything that talks about how to heal yourself, because I want people to know that you don't have to have that condition forever. You do not have to have anxiety forever. If you choose not to have anxiety forever, you would not have anxiety forever. So take out that idea that I have to live with this forever, and start working on yourself. And I know that once again it is difficult. Even today, earlier, I was like I was laying down and I woke up and I was like wouldn't it have felt good to wake up to like, a nice, beautiful text message from somebody just telling you how much they love you? And I was like, but why did you need that validation, right? Because you right now don't feel loving. So what can you do right now to feel Like, you are loved and you are valuable and you are enough, right? So you have to give yourself that thing, because it's something deeper than just needing somebody else to tell you that. And it doesn't matter how much somebody tells you, you're worthy or you're valuable. If you truly do not feel it, if you do not truly know the worth, I promise you it would not matter what they tell you, because you would never believe it. You wouldn't care. So it was a few things. I'm trying to think. I should have highlighted it in my journal, because I was journaling, and I was like, I was like, this is really, 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 really good. Because I really should have looked at this. Because yeah, it was really good as I was journaling, and I was like, man, I love that I'm like going through this. I felt like this sense of gratitude. Oh yeah, I separated. I was like, I know I should have separated it, because I was thinking it. So as I was journaling the other day, and like I do morning and like nighttime kind of journaling, but I also do whenever I have something on my mind. Now I'm starting to like journal, right? So I'm getting to it. I'm really getting to it, guys. So I was journaling, and the thought of, you're doing great despite all you've been through. Even when you didn't love yourself, you still tried to love others the best way you knew how. You still tried to be a great person. For that, you deserve a thank you. And that was something that came over me, because sometimes in our lives, right, we go through so much hurt and pain, and because we feel a sense of, our bodies naturally feel a sense of fear, we react off of that. And us reacting off of that could hurt a lot of people. And that's why they say hurt people, because some people, it is happening on a subconscious level that I'm not even aware that I'm hurting you. I didn't even remember that I said that. And I had that recently come up with an old friend, and we were just talking about it. I'm like, I don't even remember saying that. I don't remember that I did that. I remember I had the thought to say it, but I didn't even remember that I said that. And I was like, it was out of hurt. I felt, abandoned. I felt fearful that you didn't want to be my friend no more. So out of that, I expressed myself very angrily, and it was something that I shouldn't have said. And it wasn't that there wasn't any truth to some of the things I said, and I explained that to them. And I was like, it wasn't that it wasn't any truth to some of the things, because some of the things, it was truth in there, but the way that I said it, I could have said it in a different way. I could have, explained it better if I had been in a better space. But I was like, even the fact that I don't even remember saying this just went to show that I was acting out of emotion, and it was a lot of emotion in there, and I wanted to apologize. But even in that sense of apologizing, the person, I don't want to say that they didn't like forgive me, but they still were like, but now the relationship is kind of and I don't trust you, and now it's kind of like it kind of can never be the same, right? And I was in that conversation, I said a little bit about this, and I said a little bit about like, it's interesting how I understand everybody else, and when they react off of something that I can see that is automatically like a trigger. This is something that triggered something within you that may have happened in childhood, and you reacted off of that, and you're not really gearing it towards me, even though I am the recipient of it. But I know that deep down inside, what I did or something triggered something, and I can't necessarily be mad at you, but at the same time, it hurt what you said, and I took some of it in as truth, and I didn't expect that to come from you, but I still allow a sense of reform, right? I feel like there comes a time when we know that, like, dang, you may not have meant to say that to me, and I may just triggered you in something that was deeper, right? And that was the thing that I was like, it triggered something deeper in me, and you were the recipient of it, and I apologize. But I feel like me taking the accountability, me asking for this, me apologizing, me wanting to know more about myself. And I told people that, like, some things I may not be conscious that I am actually doing, or I may have done. So if you can bring it to my attention, so that way I know what I'm doing, and that way I can actually heal from it, because I don't want to be a bad person to anybody. And I'm truly, genuinely trying to be a good person, right? I am a good person. And so sometimes I'm going to have dark days, right? I'm going to have days where I may not be in the best light, and I may leave, as a YouTuber said, I may end up leaving a bad taste in your mouth. And that is something that I'm like, I'm able to understand, but I would always want to apologize. And some people, it's like, yeah, I accept your apology, but it is what it is. And I understand that, but I never want to do something where it's like, I didn't try to do that, and I wasn't trying to be a bad person. So I will always want feedback on something that, okay, if I'm acting like this and we call ourselves friends, like, call me out on it. And there's ways to do it. Sometimes you don't have to be aggressive with it. Like, you could be like, hey bro, like, I noticed this and you do this, and it's not the first time that this happened. This I've seen a cycle, so this is something. And if you bring it to my awareness, but if nobody's bringing it to my awareness, sometimes a lot of these things are happening on a subconscious level, because I get triggered, because I am acting out of a state of fight and flight, and I feel myself being in danger. So I'm trying to protect myself, right? But because some people are not, I don't want to say that developed, because that sounds harsh, but in a sense, they aren't that developed, and they're not that understanding, because they're not even that developed with their own emotions and their own feelings. And, they can't really process that within other people, because I haven't learned how to process that within myself. It's like, I won't give you that same grace, because I don't give myself that grace. And so it all happens within, right? So when I wrote that, as I was like writing in my journal, and that like came over me, I want myself included in this to understand that, like, I want other people, and myself included, to understand that, honestly, truly, you are doing the best that you can, right? And I feel like I gotta sneeze. Whew, bless me. Okay, you are doing the best that you can. And when you are doing the best that you can, sometimes you're not going to get the pat on the back. We're going to be completely honest. You're not going to get the pat on the back. You are not going to get the pat on the back that you need. And when you truly follow this life of wholeness and being in one with God or spirit or source, you realize that you don't need that validation, right? You don't need somebody. When you're truly doing something from the kindness and being genuine, you don't need that validation. You don't need somebody to come up and tell you, like, you know what? Thank you for that. Thank you for, telling me these kind of words. It would be appreciated, right? But sometimes you have to do the work. If your calling on this earth is to do the work, trust me, God is going to reward you, and you are going to get the validation. There's been plenty of times where I didn't get the validation from the person that I helped. I didn't get the thank you from the person that I helped, but I did get the thank you from somebody else randomly, of me just giving them a smile, and them just end up pouring into me, or just like how amazing of a person that you are. That validation didn't come from the person that I originally attended. Like, dang, I wanted to come from them. Like, I wanted them to tell me that I'm a good person. But the validation came weeks later from somebody randomly, just like, dang, like, just your energy just spoke to me. And I just wanted to tell you that, keep going in life, because that's how God works. That's how God speaks to us. If you're doing something, you're saying that you're truly, genuinely doing this, out of the kindness of your heart. It doesn't matter who praises you, because you're not looking for the praise. You're looking to just do the work. And, a lot of times that made me sit with my ego of like, are you doing this to be a genuinely good person, or are you doing this for validation? Do you truly care about people, or do you just want to feel loved, right? And so just the whole idea with having to go backwards to, get to where I am now. And that was why I felt like I had to get tested in such a way, because I was in my head about, like, is this genuinely who I am? Is this genuinely what I want to do? Or is this something that I'm just like convincing myself that this is what I want to do? Am I really this person? Am I really a good person? And especially because people were just like telling me about myself and just saying XYZ, and I'm like, dang, am I genuinely a good person? Like, am I? And I, with all of this going on and like going back to like really being holistic, and then just like, I love helping people, and I do enjoy this. And to go each day where I couldn't speak the way I wanted to speak, and I couldn't provide light and love into the world, right? It did make me feel a type of way. It did make me, feel just like not myself. And I knew that like this is truly who I am, and it felt so good to know that. And within that, I had to relax and form this peace within myself of like, you got to cut out needing the validation from everybody else, because you already was validated when you came here. When you agreed to be this person, you were already validated. So you don't need the extra validation, because you're already good enough. You're already good. Everything is already set. You it's good. Like, you don't need no more validation. And yes, it does feel good, but you have to continue doing the work, even if you don't get the praise, right? If this is genuinely what you love to do, sometimes you will not get that. But if this is who you are, then you don't necessarily care to get that, because you're genuinely doing what you love to do. You're not doing it for the fame, or you're not doing it for the people to praise you and pedestalize you. You're not looking for that. You're truly, genuinely just being authentic to yourself. And so as I was reading this book, and it was talking about what I literally just had the little sticky notes. I just had it. I literally just had the sticky note, y'all. Like, I just had that sticky note. And it literally disappeared. It literally, y'all, the sticky note literally disappeared. Oh, there you go. Found it. Okay. So it say, be the energy. I have this phone case, and it say, be the energy you want to see. And I always say I don't match energy. I elevate it. And so it says, be the energy you want to see in the world. If you want to see better people, more understanding people, then first it starts with me. It starts with healing and allowing that within myself. And it was, as I was reading this book, and it was some quotes that kind of like stuck out and everything like that. And I was reading it, and I was just like, yeah. And I looked at my phone case, and I was like, yes. And it's all like coming together full circle with even what I end up writing a few days ago in the journal. And I was like, yeah, this video needs to get out. And it was just coming in full circle of, you know what? Whatever you are looking for, give it to the world. Whatever you are constantly seeking, give it to the world, right? So I was constantly seeking genuine love, right? Because that was something that I felt as though I lacked in my life. But I was giving it to the world without giving it to myself, right? I was more focused on giving it to somebody else and searching for it outside of myself. And I say that so often, that I was searching for it outside of myself. And it started within me. I had to find that within me. I had to go within me. It wasn't outside of me. And that is the difficult thing. That's the challenge there, with understanding that it's inwardly. And it is like, now that I am really getting into what I call like a really healthy attachment with myself, I am learning that it really starts within. It really starts with giving yourself it. You have to learn how to love yourself. You have to learn how to just pour into yourself. And it is not as physical as we try to make it seem, but it's simple things. Like, I was realizing that I didn't love myself, and then the book that I was reading confirmed this. Was like, I will wait to use the bathroom. Like, I would know I have to pee, and I will wait to do it. And the book talked about this, like, if you have the urge to pee but you wait to the last minute, that is also a form of not loving yourself. And I was like, dang, I do that. Like, I will wait to the last minute. If I'm hungry, I will sit and procrastinate it. And it was all of these things that was showing up in my life, that it was just showing me that I was not loving myself. And I was like, how can I call myself, this person who values all of these relationships, but the most valuable relationship that I'm ever going to have, I do not cater to it. I do not put it up there. I do not strengthen that relationship. And even strengthening the relationship that you have with God, it was like, I have to strengthen my relationship that I have with myself. And so I was like, drinking more water. Like, I would be thirsty. Like, right now, like, when I'm done with this, I have my water right here too. When I'm done with this, I'm going to drink my waters. But I was like, even the art of that, I will not drink my water. I would know that I'm thirsty, and I would just be like, I'm not going to drink that water. Why are you not drinking the water? Hydrate yourself. Why do you feel like these things? Like, why would you sit here and just not, cater to yourself and love yourself and do these things? And I think that it's the simplest things that we have to do in order to love ourselves, that we make it so complex, that before you get into the morning routines, before you get into they're like fighting behind me. It's crazy. But like, before you get to any of the other things, did you nourish yourself today, right? Did you, elevate your mind today? Did you get out some things that were bothering you? Did you sit with yourself? Did you allow yourself to feel? Did you allow yourself to love? Did you allow yourself to smile, to laugh today? All of these things, that you may have deprived yourself of. Did you drink enough water today? It is summertime. Hydrate yourself. Did you eat a nourishing meal, a meal that truly made you feel good, feel happy, and didn't make you feel sluggish or tired or anything like that really rejuvenated you, that made you like, I want to get out and I want to do something, that you did a happy dance when you was eating it? Did you eat a piece of fruit? Like, did you eat a little vegetable or something? Any of these things that truly show yourself that you love yourself. It is so beyond the act of like buying yourself roses. Like, let's get out of that. Okay, we got that. Buying yourself flowers. I'm a flower girl. I love flowers, right? But beyond that, how are you treating yourself? And it was just that, in that I was like, I have to go to the bathroom when I have to use the bathroom. Like, if I feel that I have to use the bathroom, I'm going to go to the bathroom, because that was an act of not loving myself, giving myself and putting all of those things, on myself of, no, you can't do that right now. Like, you have to wait. Like, that is something right there. Like, no, and especially, all of these things just was showing me that, like, wow, it is so much more than just saying I do X, Y, Z. Like, oh, this is how I choose to love myself, because I am, having a skincare routine, and I go out and I take myself on dates, and I took myself to the movies. But when was that time when, you sat with yourself and you was able to you feel me? Like, you sat with yourself and you was like, you know what? I need to cry, and I'm going to cry. And yesterday I had that feeling. I was like, I need to cry. And I felt myself like suppressing it. And I was like, no, you need to cry. Go cry. Like, cry it out. Like, who are you holding it in for? You have a feeling, you have these emotions, you let it out. And then in that process of letting it out, then I journaled. And I was like, it's going to all be okay. Like, reminding yourself after the tears, because your body will tell you it's not okay. And you will attach the emotion to the feeling, and the anxiety would come in and the depression would come in. But after you let out that emotion, detach from the feeling, right? So if I feel sadness, And then now I'm attaching to the feeling of sadness, which will come as depression. It's like, no, I'm not going to attach myself to the depressed feeling. I feel sadness. I'm going to allow myself to say, this is it. I feel sad. Why do I feel sad? I feel sad because right now I feel maybe not my best. I don't feel the best. I don't feel, the most worthy, or I feel alone right now, and I'm sad about it and things like that. But now I don't have to attach to the cycle of like, okay, well, now that's sending me down a spiral of being depressed. Now I'm depressed about being sad, about me being lonely, about me, needing somebody, or me feeling like I need somebody and stuff like that. It's like, no, now I don't have to attach to that feeling of depression and go down to those like spirals. So it's like I understood that and allowed myself to cry, and then allowed myself to get that out, and I was like, alrighty, and now we're good, and that's the end of that. Like we don't have to do more about that. Like we don't have to say nothing else. We don't gotta do nothing. We don't gotta do nothing else. Like that's it. You felt sad because you felt lonely. Okay, why do you feel lonely? Because it's something that is triggering you from your inner child. Okay, you're not lonely. You're not lonely. You are not lonely. Even if you're by yourself, you're not lonely. That's a lie. You're not lonely. You're doing great in life. You're in a period of solitude, maybe, if you're in that period of solitude. But if you have even somebody in your life, that is not loneliness. If you get to connect and go out and just meet people, that is not loneliness. You always are connected with source. You always are connected with you. So you're not lonely. You always have you. You literally always have you. You're not lonely. Always got you. Always. And so even though that may seem so lonely, it's really not, because you are your best friend. You love yourself more than anybody could ever love you. And it's honestly up to you to tap into that. And it's only honestly up to you to know that and feel that. And nobody else can give you that. You have to give yourself that. And that is really what I tried to make this video short, but that is really what I am really working on each and every day, is learning detachment and learning that you got you at the end of the day. And that is a beautiful thing, and it shouldn't be something that is dreadful. It shouldn't be something that is sad, but it's like, dang, I got me. And I'm my best friend. I get to love myself the way that I deserve to be loved. You get to do it. Like I get to love myself the way that I deserve to be loved. So how do I deserve to be loved? You're setting the foundation. Nobody else can do that for me. Like I get to show myself what it means to love me. And from that, how everybody else does it will be a reflection of how I love me, or a reflection of how they love them. I don't have to accept it if it's not the reflection that I want to see. If it's not loving me the way I want to be loved, I don't have to accept it anymore, because now I know how I deserve to be loved, and I get to love on myself. And that's the most beautiful thing, because I get to do it. I get to give it to myself. And that is the ultimate thing, and that is the best thing. And it is something that is challenging, but you get to put it in your head daily. And the more that I am learning how to take care of myself, the more that I get to do these things and all of that stuff like that, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so I just want everybody to feel that, and to know that it is something that is beautiful when you truly, genuinely love yourself and you honor yourself, because you get to do it now, and you get to fully indulge in what it means to love yourself wholeheartedly. So yeah, I'm gonna end it because we right there with time. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Continue being beautiful, continue being loving, and yeah, just have a great day, great week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.